Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. The other day on the Joe Budden podcast, Joe and the crew were discussing the fact that actress Kerry Washington shared the fact that she never knew that her father was not her biological father until she was getting ready to go on the show Finding My Roots with Henry Louis Gates. Apparently, after Kerry signed on to do the show that uses your DNA to trace your ancestry, her parents felt the need to sit her down and tell her that she was conceived through the use of a sperm donor and that the man who raised her was of no real biological relation to her. Now, when discussing the fact that the man who raised her was not her biological father, Joe and the crew got into a heated debate about whether children have the right to know who their biological parents are, or if parents have a responsibility to tell their children their genetic origins. And Joe said, absolutely not. Children don't have a right to know ish. Joe said, quote, I ain't gotta tell you ish. I don't have to tell you a effing thing. I have to come to you and have a talk about me and somebody's inability to have you. Now, I'm sharing my own personal ish with you. I don't think I have to do any of that. End quote. Joe continued on to say that aside from medical issues maybe, kids don't really need to know who their biological parents are, as long as the people who are raising them right. Joe said, quote, I think parents have rights. I think that kids grow up and want to apply all of this ish, all of this new age society ish. Ancestry.com is new, and all of those comparable sites and genealogy TV shows where you can find out what sperm is related to you since the 1600s. End quote. Yo, Joe just be having the most eloquent ways of saying things, doesn't he? But listen, let me know if you think that Joe is right when he says that parents have rights and they don't have to tell their kids ish. If they don't want to tell their kids how they were conceived, they don't have to. Because as long as the kid or kids are currently being raised by loving parents, they don't need to know who their biological parents are. Listen, let me know what you think about that in the comments. And while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now, check it out. The other day, Cardi B was on Complex's Hot Ones. You know, the show where they sit down and eat the hot wings and talk? And while she was there, Cardi explained why she doesn't include subject matter that's related to her personal life or her personal struggles in her songs. Check out what Cardi B had to say.
A lot of people tell me that I should put my pain, my struggle in my music. A lot of my pains and a lot of my struggles or whatever the crap is going on, I feel like the masses might not be able to relate. You know what I'm saying? The masses might not be able to relate. It's like, oh my gosh, they're tearing a new asshole on Twitter on me because I said this and that. The average person is like, girl, shut up. I gotta wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning. I gotta do this and that. So it's like, I don't really like to make music like I would normally do an intro. I would just literally like to make my intro of everything, addressing all the bullshit, addressing the bitches, addressing the shit that I gotta go through, and then just the whole album just be about fun, because I like fun. You know what I'm saying? I like fun. So I think the first, my intro, I feel like it should be just me popping my shit, and after that, all right, let's pop some puss. Pop my shit, then pop some puss.
Look, I understand that Cardi doesn't want to put her personal information in her music, but that doesn't mean that the only thing that you could rap about is puss in boots. I mean, there's a million other topics that you could use to make good songs that don't include sexually explicit material or your personal business. I mean, Cardi better be careful, because recently she was placed in an article entitled, These 15 Rappers Excel in Rapping About One Subject. Listen, let me know what you think about Cardi B saying that the reason why she raps about puss and brand name boots all the time is because she wants to have fun and she doesn't want to rap about her personal business. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. But while we're talking about Cardi and her vast range of lyrical skills, let me say this. With all of the recent back and forth that's been going on between Cardi's camp and Nicki's camp since the VMAs, I got curious and I wanted to know what the root cause of their beef actually was. So I traced their history back to the origins of the beef and realized that according to both Nicki and Cardi, their beef started when they were both asked to drop verses on the Migos song Motorsport. So this is what happened. Nicki and Cardi both went into the studio separately to drop their bars on the track. But when the song was almost done, Cardi previewed the song and had an issue with one of the bars in Nicki's verse because Nicki said, quote, "I'm with a couple of bad B's that'll rip the party. If Cardi the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi." End quote. Well, Cardi felt that Nicki was trying to sun her with that bar because Vince Lombardi used to coach quarterbacks. So she asked Atlantic Records to ask Nicki Minaj to go back and rewrite and re-record her bar before the song dropped. So Nicki went back into the studio and changed it to, quote, "I'm with a couple of bad B's that'll rip the party. If Quavo the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi." End quote. Now, ever since then, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj have been beefing. But that right there is the genesis. So here's my questions. 1. Was Nicki's original bar about Cardi a diss or a compliment? If it was a diss, then how come Quavo didn't have no problem with it? 2. Was Cardi right or wrong to ask the record company to ask Nicki to change her verse? Do real MCs do that? And 3. Should Nicki have gone back and changed her verse? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, check this out. Rapper Plies from Florida has a question that he wants to ask you because he's mad confused about something and he needs some answers. Check this out.
Hey, it's quick. I just say this first. I don't want nobody in my comments and shit mad at me because I don't mean it in no derogatory way, but it's some shit I'm trying to motherfucking figure out. And what I'm trying to figure out is this motherfucking Taylor Swift, however you motherfucking say it. How is this motherfucker this big, man? How? Like, I ain't never in my motherfucking life seen a motherfucker this big. Besides motherfucking Michael Jackson. But she got to be the motherfucking Caucasian Michael. She got to be.
So, after Plies posed that question online, a lot of people had something to say. And one person said, quote, "Ever since Kanye mentioned Nicki should have won a certain award when it was time for her to speak 2 years ago, those people didn't like that. So that's what happened. And people who know music and people know this. So now, who wants to debate on it?" End quote. I think this person right here, who seems to know music and people so well, actually meant to say when Beyonce won and Kanye jumped up on the stage. But I digress. Anyhow, another person said, quote, "She got them Disney Plus and Nickelodeon hits. That's a different bag." End quote. And then somebody else was like, "She's the white girl's Beyonce," laughing out loud. And then after that, somebody else was like, "I don't know. I can't even think of a single song." You know something? I think Taylor Swift is just one of those people who grow on you. Because even though you're like trying to fight it, and you're like, "I don't want to listen to this, I don't want to like it," you actually listen to a Taylor Swift song and you start bouncing your head. It's like a crazy phenomenon. Listen, let me know what you think about Plies asking, why is Taylor Swift so darn big? Let me know in the comments. Now, check this out, because we have an update for you. DC YoungFly's Wildin' Out co-star and baby's mother, Jacky Oh's cause of death has now been determined. As you know, Jacky Oh had cosmetic surgery done on her buttocks on May 30th. And then she passed away the very next day. According to news sources, immediately after getting what some call the mommy makeover, Jacky left the facility where she got the surgery and she reported having no complications. Now, before she left the doctor's office, he prescribed her 3 different medications: ciprofloxacin, which is an antibiotic, oxycodone, which is a painkiller, and a drug called ondansetron, which is an anti-nausea medication. Okay, so she left the medical facility and she went back to the hotel to rest. And sometime during the evening, she began to complain of having a headache. The very next day, she went to her post-surgery appointment and told them about her headache. And she was advised to stop taking the ondansetron and to just start taking ibuprofen. Now, according to the medical examiner's report, during that May 31st follow-up appointment, Jacky said that her head felt like it was burning and she also had trouble speaking. But despite the fact that she was having difficulty forming words, they sent her home anyway. Okay, so Jackie goes back to the hotel, and sometime during that night, she became unresponsive, and then she was transported to the local Miami hospital where she was pronounced dead at 11 p.m. According to sources, the medical examiner's report also says that Jackie O had swelling in her brain and bleeding of the skin around her torso. Jackie O's death has now been ruled an accident. Let me tell you something. Even though a lot of doctors are very good, some of these doctors out here are trash. And I mean, how does somebody walk into your office telling you that they have a severe headache and they cannot form words and you send them home? I mean, that right there is crazy. And I don't understand why this has been ruled an accident, because obviously there was some medical malpractice. Listen, let me know what you think about Jackie O's death being ruled an accident. Do you think that somebody's getting away with murder? Let me know in the comments. And hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.